My name is Franklin Rodriguez. That's my legal name, my Christian name, I guess, if you want to call it that. They call me Frank El Medico or El Medico in the industry, especially specifically in the Latin industry, mainly because of engineering and what I do in the studio. I'm an SAE graduate. I graduated in 2002, and I've been teaching for, let's say, 12 years here at the same campus. At the same time, I've been working outside of the school, kind of putting to work what I learned how to do over here. One of the key albums that I guess I worked on was with Daddy Yankee. It was his second album on an English label, or his second album in general. That album did well, and I learned a lot when I worked on that album, because it was the first album that I worked on that was, being mostly done like in a big studio with a big budget, and you get to see that workflow. But then from there, I got to work with a lot of Hispanic people for the most part. Wisin and Yandel, Tego Calderon. In the English market, I've done some work for like people like Diplo and Matt Decent and Alice in Wonderland most recently. So I'm kind of breaking into the EDM scene a little bit. So it's kind of mainly because of the whole reggaeton led into Mumbatone, and then Mumbatone kind of led into EDM. So hey, I'm not complaining. I was nominated for with Daddy Yankee for that album that I worked on, the very first big album that I worked on. That was nominated for American and Latin Grammys. I also worked for a group called Calle 13 that got some nominations as well. And then the bigger nomination that was also American and Latin. The bigger nomination, I guess, would be, for me personally, would be with a group called Locos Pro Juana, which is a local group that I went to high school with, the lead singer and the guitar player, coincidentally, and we worked on one of their albums, and that album managed to get a Best Alternative Album nomination. So I got two nominations, one minor and one bigger than the other one. The minor one, if there is such a thing, it's a song that I worked on for a group called Chucky Town for their new album. That's nominated in the Latin Grammys this year. I believe it's like Best Tropical Album or Tropical Fusion, I forget. That is one of the nominations for this year. And then the other nomination was for a group from Mexico that I worked with. The name is Centauros. And they're not very famous, but they managed to get, while not being very famous, a nomination for Best Alternative Album. How do you balance being an instructor and also, working out in the industry? Well, I'm lucky that this environment gives me some leniency to do things like taking off the next 3 days so that I can be part of the Latin Grammys, for instance. I don't know many jobs that would allow you to do things like that. Also, there's sleep is overrated. You kind of just have to get it done. You get the rest when you can, and then you just keep working, and that's the end of that. I think patience is the most important thing. Obviously, training is important, and knowing what you're doing, and at least understanding the tools that you're using are important. But patience is the most important, because it takes time to get good at anything. And you might be good at something right now, but in order to be successful at this or anything else, you have to be good at 20 things, not just one thing. So it definitely, that my biggest recommendation or advice is just to be patient with yourself, to give yourself the time to learn and be able to get good at what you're doing, and just be humble about it. Like you think you know, but you don't. Because I thought I knew, and I realized quickly that I didn't. I still don't. I'm still learning. I learn every day. I learn new things every day that I thought I was doing right, and I'm not. I learn better ways of doing things. You could always either hit me up on Twitter at Frank El Medico, ELMEDICO, Frank ELMEDICO, or you can go to the website, which is laclinicarex.com, laclinicarecs.com. Either way, you can get in touch with me. Twitter's the best way, because I'm big on Twitter. Don't do Snapchat. Don't ask me. I won't. That's it. That's me.